Hello and welcome to Enviroscope, WADR's environment program here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and via our partner radios in the Gambia, Ghana, Nigeria, and Sierra Leone. We are live on WADR.org. I'm Abdullahi Hassan, your host. For those tuning in for the first time, Enviroscope brings to the fore topical issues from climate change to green economy, fishing and marine resources, energy solutions to housing and sustainability, or just about anything and everything that concerns Mother Earth. This week, we will be talking about World Ozone Day, celebrated on September 16. If you are wondering what the ozone layer is, it is that part of the atmosphere located between 20 and 50 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Its main role is to absorb the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. These rays cause sunburns that are harmful to one's health. And in commemoration of this year's event, the UN is calling for continued action to restore and preserve the ozone layer.
As climate change increasingly brings dangerous temperature extremes and storms and floods, the world is looking for hope, for ambition, and for action. And all of these can be found in the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer.
In Burkina Faso, environmental organizations say they are committed to this goal.
Normally, we celebrate this day because it's an opportunity for us to reflect on the importance of the Montreal Protocol and to take action to progress in favor of climate.
World Ozone Layer Day was observed last Monday under the theme, the Montreal Protocol, Advancing Climate Action. Through this theme, the United Nations calls for more action to preserve the ozone layer. Ogibirika has more details in this report.
According to the UN, the world must move towards phasing out substances that deplete the ozone layer. The ozone layer is found in the Earth's upper atmosphere and protects us from the sun's ultraviolet rays, which are harmful to living beings. In recent years, the use of certain dangerous chemicals has gradually destroyed the ozone layer. These are halocarbons, composed of several carbon atoms. These substances are mainly used in industries that emit large quantities of greenhouse gases. Most of these industries are based in developed countries, notably the United States of America, Europe, and Asia. On this year's World Ozone Day, the UN is calling for accelerated action under the Montreal Protocol. This multilateral agreement follows on from the Vienna Convention on the Protection of the Ozone Layer adopted on March 22, 1985. Its main aim is to reduce and eventually eliminate ozone-depleting substances. It was signed by 24 countries and the European Economic Community on September 16, 1987 in Montreal, Canada, and came into force on January 1, 1989. According to the UN, implementation of the Montreal Protocol has progressed well in both developed and developing countries. The gradual phase-out of ozone-depleting substances has not only helped to protect the ozone layer for present and future generations, but has also contributed to the international community's effort to tackle climate change.
Ogibirika filed that report. Speaking on the 2024 World Ozone Day, Inga Anderson, the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, congratulated the Montreal Protocol for returning the ozone layer on the path to full recovery and its significant climate action potential under its Kigali Amendment.
As climate change increasingly brings dangerous temperature extremes and storms and floods, the world is looking for hope, for ambition, and for action. And all of these can be found in the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer. This agreement has put the ozone layer on the path to full recovery, and it has also brought a significant impact for the climate. Action under the protocol phased out gases used in the cooling industry, gases that destroyed the ozone layer and warmed our planet. It also stopped harmful UV radiation from devastating nature's carbon sinks and so helped to slow the rate of global warming. The protocol epitomizes the multilateralism and unity of purpose that we need to combat global environmental challenges. And the work is not yet done. Under the Kigali Amendment to the Protocol, countries have begun reducing powerful climate warming gases known as hydrofluorocarbons or HFCs. Phasing down HFCs could avoid up to 0.5 degrees of warming by 2100. And using the transition to climate-friendly gases to increase the energy efficiency of cooling equipment could also double those gains. But to deliver these gains, we need every nation to ratify and fully implement the Kigali Amendment. And we need businesses to innovate on climate-friendly cooling products that hit markets fast. On this World Ozone Day, we celebrate what the Montreal Protocol has already achieved, and we look forward to more benefits for the planet and for the climate through the Kigali Amendment. With this powerful climate action tool, we can keep our homes, our food, our vaccines, and our planet cool.
Inga Anderson, Executive Director of UNEP. In West Africa, several environmental organizations are campaigning to protect the ozone layer. Such is the case of the Association of Young People for Ecology, Endogenous and Participatory Development, AGIDEP, based in Burkina Faso. Sylvian Kabore, president of the association, has been speaking to my colleague Mustafa Jakite.
Déjà, je vais aller d'un point de vue général. Personnellement, je tiens à dire un grand merci.
First, I want to begin from a general point of view. I want to say a big thank you for having brought interest to my humble person. So, I directly answer your question. The ozone layer is a chemical compound made up of 3 oxygen atoms. And to go even simpler, the yellow layer is a region of the Tigris atmosphere that plays a crucial role in the protection of human life and living beings. Today, the yellow layer absorbs the majority of ultraviolet rays, which can be dangerous for living organisms. Today, for example, we can say that without this layer, these rays would directly damage the powerful cells and also cause infection on human skin.
Directement les cellules puissantes, et aussi provoquer des brûlures sur les peaux humaines, et tout.
And what inspired your participation of the World Ozone Day observed on Monday, September 16?
Cette journée du 16 septembre 2024, nous avons célébré.
This day, September 16, 2024, we recently celebrated one of the greatest actions of international cooperation, which is the protection of the yellow ozone layer. We actually talked about it as a natural shield because it's something natural. It's something natural and it's not manufacturable. So it's related to the environmental issues. Normally, we celebrate this day because it's an opportunity for us to reflect on the importance of the Montreal Protocol and to take action to progress in favor of climate.
La couche d'ozone pour la santé humaine et les écosystèmes, par exemple, et la planète.
What lessons have you learned from this topic?
D'accord, déjà, c'est de dire aujourd'hui qu'une action collective concertée entre les pays peut aboutir à des résultats.
Okay, first of all, it is said today that a collective action between countries can lead to tangible results. Environmental protection is used as a model for other crises, such as climate change. To fight against crises such as climate change, it is essential to implement adaptation and resilience policies that take into account current and future challenges, while also involving stakeholders at all levels. This is to ensure that joint efforts can succeed in solving challenges such as the destruction of the yellow layer and climate change. We also have the fight that it is essential to learn from past successes to strengthen current and future climate actions. This involves adopting strong policies, recovering durable technologies, and working collectively at the global level to protect the planet. And you are showing a particular interest in the protection of the ozone layer.
De promouvoir des technologies durables et de travailler de manière collective à l'échelle mondiale pour protéger la planète.
What measures do you think should be taken in a context where climate change is expected to have worrying proportions?
Une très bonne question. Une question qui mettra vraiment à donner encore plus de détails pour ce qui concerne la protection de
A very good question. A question that will really help me to give even more details and the protection of the environment. Today, we need to know that in the context where climate change reaches a significant proportion, it is crucial to take urgent measures to address its impacts and adapt to its effects. What we need to know is that today we need to make a transition towards renewable energies and stop burning woods gotten from cutting down trees. For example, we must avoid all that is greenhouse and all that is linked to fossil fuels. We must also electrify transport. We must also reduce deforestation and restore forests. These actions must be implemented at all levels, individual, local, national and international, to build a sustainable and resilient future.
Individuel, local, national et international. Voilà, pour bâtir vraiment un avenir durable et résilient.
Speaking of climate change, what is the extent of the impact of climate crisis in Burkina Faso?
C'est une question vraiment d'actualité en termes d'ampleur des impacts. Voilà.
This is a very current issue in terms of the extent of the impacts of the climate crisis in Burkina Faso. In addition to droughts, Burkina Faso is experiencing more and more frequent floods. The rainfall, although it is a global decline, it's becoming more intense over a short period of time that is causing sudden floods. This leads the population to frequent displacement. At the moment, it is not easy in Burkina Faso, and the flooding situation is continuing in several cities.
La question des inondations, c'est encore plus fréquent dans plusieurs villes.
Sylvia Kabore is president of the Association of Young People for Ecology, Endogenous and Participatory Development, AGEDEP. Torrential rains have unleashed catastrophic floods in West and Central Africa, affecting over 4 million people in 14 countries, according to the United Nations. An agency of the UN system, the World Food Programme, warns that the worrying spike in humanitarian needs comes amid a regional hunger crisis already affecting 55 million people. National governments are on the front lines of this crisis, with WFP's support providing critical food and nutrition assistance to nearly 1 million people across the region. Maiduguri, the capital of Borno State, Nigeria, is one such location where hundreds of thousands of people remain displaced due to devastating flood triggered by the collapse of a dam more than a week ago. The state is also located in the northeastern region, grappling with the 15-year Boko Haram insurgency, climate change, and recent inflation. Emmanuel Biginimana, the head of WFP's office in Maiduguri, tells Enviroscope of his agency's response efforts in collaboration with the state government and partners. This crucial assistance enables affected families to meet their basic food and nutrition needs while they try to rebuild their lives.
Perhaps before I come to the needs of these people, I want to describe that this area, northeast Nigeria, has been already facing a crisis, a protracted conflict because of Boko Haram insurgency, and most recently the inflation, particularly food inflation, where food prices have been skyrocketing. So we're already having a crisis here, food insecurity crisis. So this is an additional burden. So when you ask about what are the major needs for the moment, food is number one, shelter, clean water, and also other basic services for the victims of these floods really to survive.
What sort of support has been rendered so far to women and children, who are most likely the most affected and currently constitute the higher number of displaced people?
Definitely, we are all putting our hands together to intensify efforts to provide a response. So we are complementing the government response. The government is in the lead. And as UN agencies, we are also supporting together with our NGO partners. So WFP have been able to open soup kitchens to provide hot meals to the people, but also other partners, UN agencies, UNICEF, as you mentioned, also providing support to the children and also to other vulnerable communities in terms of nutrition, in terms of medication, and other services. So we are all together on this response, but the need is great. So there is a need really to scale up quickly so that we can really avert the catastrophe.
How many people is WFP able to cater for through the soup kitchen you talked about?
We have reached 50,000 people, but we are scaling up. Basically, soup kitchens are being set up across the camps, and also cooks are cooking day and night. So we are scaling up because the number of the people affected are many, but also there are some other volunteer organizations, the government, who are also providing the meals and other basic services to the affected people.
Mr. Emmanuel, kindly help us understand what soup kitchen is. Because technically speaking, it will mean that you only prepare soup, for instance, for people who require good nutrition. But just let us know if it's something different that WFP refers to soup kitchen in this context.
No, we are providing actually a complete and a healthy meal. In these kitchens, we are providing a fortified rice, which is nutritious with some complements that are really needed for the people who are affected. So it includes rice, it includes pulses, it includes vegetable oil, and also other ingredients. So it's a complete healthy meal that we are providing. We are trying to provide 2 meals per day, and we are scaling up to reach the maximum of the people that are affected.
How long do you think it will take Maiduguri to recover from this disaster, and which by then WFP will be ready to at least withdraw its services? How long will it take?
Let me tell you, I flew over Maiduguri with the WFP helicopter, and the water I saw with my own eyes is really heartbreaking. So we are talking about water that has submerged large parts of the homes. So I don't expect the people who are affected, the dispersed persons, to return very soon to their respective homes. It will take time to return to normalcy, and recovery will take long because markets have been affected, infrastructure have been destroyed. So it's going to take very long to recover, and it's really a situation that is not easy to manage. But we are here to respond. WFP is already providing food assistance to other locations affected by the crisis, particularly the IDPs in the local government areas. And there are some other parts also which are affected by the floods. And what is also critical is that farmlands have been destroyed. Thousands of farmlands have been destroyed. So basically, it means that we are going to face hunger in the coming months because the affected location will not get any production.
Emmanuel Beginimana is head of the World Food Program's office in Borno State, Northeast Nigeria. That's how we end this week's edition of Enviroscope, WADR's environment program focusing on the 2024 World Ozone Day. Follow our discussions on X, Instagram at WADR News, on Facebook, WADR English Service, and online at wadr.org. Also, kindly drop a message on our WhatsApp platform using +221 7818 45421. Again, +221 7818 45421. Many thanks to our listeners in Gambia via Numi FM, Banjul, in Nigeria on Albaraka Radio, Bauchi State Northeast, In Ghana, via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango Savannah region and Baft FM Sierra Leone. I am Abdullahi Hassan. It's a bye for now.